Good evening. Thank you for tuning in. I am Nguyen, host of Business Forum. For those of you who are watching for the first time, this show is about business, all for business. And today it is my great pleasure to have a special guest, and he will be talking about, we will be having conversations about how state and small businesses can work together for greater benefits. Quý vị đang theo dõi chương trình diễn đàn kinh doanh. Tôi là Danny Nguyễn Quốc Đoàn. Và hôm nay chúng tôi có một người khách, đó là ông dân biểu tiểu bang, đó là ông Rick Miller ở địa phận 26. Và ngày hôm nay trong đề tài sẽ nói về những làm cách nào để cho tiểu bang và chính quyền tiểu bang và những người thương gia có thể hợp tác với nhau và ảnh hưởng nhau như thế nào. Thank you for being here, Rick.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes,
It's great to be here.
Yes, it's good. I should be calling you the Honorable State Representative Rick Mueller, but since I have known you for several years,
right.
So if you allow me to call you Rick,
that's fine.
For the flow of the conversation.
I insist on
it. Thank you. There's so much to introduce about you, and then I do not know where to start because we have known each other for so long. So would you please share with the audience a little bit about yourself, your family, or whatever you want them to know about you?
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I grew up on the East Coast, and I was a baseball player, really, and I almost went and played professional baseball, but I decided to go to the United States Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland, because I wanted to serve my country.
Yes.
And then I ended up being a Navy pilot.
Right.
And so I served.
Here we go. We have a pictures of Rick Mueller as a young man, as a fighter pilot. There we go.
There you go. A few years ago.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, with my fighter uniform on. So I did that. I had a great time doing that. I had opportunities to lead organizations in the military and the Navy, and where I could influence people and affect their lives. And that was important to me, to do it in the right way. So give people an opportunity to grow and succeed and
empower people.
Empower people. That's right. And that's what makes organizations great, by the way, from a leadership perspective. So I did that for about 30 years and had multiple commands or top leadership positions, and then decided to get out and join the real world in the business world. And I did that for about a year in the Washington, D.C. area, and then came to Texas in about 1999. I joined a roll-up company of electrical engineering companies, and then started my own business. In leadership. Leadership at all levels. And so I did that for a while, and then the opportunity came for me to get into politics.
And you were the Fort Bend Republican chair.
I started out as a precinct chairman, the lowest position, grassroots. And about a year and a half later, I became the county chairman, Fort Bend County Republican Party chairman. And I did that for about 4 years, and then I had the opportunity to run for the Texas House. And I did that, and I'm currently in my third term and running for a fourth term.
It's go by.
So that's my. I have a family. I have a new wife. My former wife passed away suddenly overnight about a year and a half ago. And so one of her best friends is now my wife. So it's God's great.
It's
God provides for us.
Great lady.
Right.
You're a man with good faith, strong faith. I know that. You may not be expecting this, but I cannot help to thank you publicly. When I first started running for city council at large, you probably have forgotten about it.
No, I haven't.
But you came over there. You were standing by me and my family when I was running for city council at large in Missouri City. And I want to publicly and thank you so much for that. I mean, sometimes that you don't say it, but it's always that is something you can never forget. So you've been serving.
You're welcome. And I'm sure Missouri City misses you. I know they do.
Yes. Because you talk about empowerment. What's I like about you? I mean, you are truly leader. A leader is somebody who empower people. I remember as a new guy, I didn't know anything about politics because the fact
Right.
that you were there, it's a true empowerment. Like a new guy lean on an experience, and I appreciate that. I hope you will carry that mentality to, in the future, because I'm pretty sure there will be a lot of younger people who want to know what does it take, Rick, to be a state representative.
Right. Well, you know, it's what it takes the strong desire to serve. Just like all my life has been about service. But from a leadership perspective, no matter what organization, a small business, a large business, a church, or in politics, you know, leadership is about influencing people to do things, not because of your position, but because of who you are as a person.
Right.
And so through that development of people in your organization, you empower them, you give them that opportunity to be successful, and you support that as much as you possibly can. And then when you get them excited and going, then you just get out of their way and they go. So that empowerment, that development, realizing that potential that's within every human being, pulling that out and just letting it go, letting them develop that. So anyway.
Right. So you have been serving as a state representative in District 26 for 6 years. So how was it like? What was the good, the bad, and the ugly? Would you share with the audience a little bit about that?
Well, a lot of people don't understand really how that process works.
Yes.
It is, and I just recently, maybe last week, was talking with some people and explaining this last session and special session. We actually had our regular session that went through the end of May, and then the governor called us back into a special session for 30 days to do some things. And I labeled that the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because
just go in the whole package.
Because a lot of it is very, very good.
Yes.
It's a very interesting place to work, especially when you're trying to do work for the people of Texas and work for the people of District 26 and do the right things for them so that they can be successful, that they can, be it in business, we're on a business show, and so provide all that opportunity for people to establish their business, grow their business, minimize their tax structure, but give them that opportunity, you know, to grow. And that's why if you over 1,000 people and move to Texas every day. I don't know whether you knew that or not.
Right.
But over 1,000 people move to Texas, and businesses are coming to Texas because it's a great place to live.
Right.
It's a great place to raise a family, and it's a great place to be successful. Texas has, I think it's about the 11th largest economy in the world.
Right.
Texas does.
Right.
And so what that means is there's opportunity here, no matter who you are, what your business is, to come here and be successful. And my job as a legislator is to help those businesses be successful and do what I can to ease that burden of becoming a business and being successful. So.
Right. Well, as a business owner yourself, you understand the challenges, the difficulty that small business owners is facing. So because when you understand a person's situation, I mean, you're more connected and be more understanding.
That's right.
So what kind of impact do you think small business have on a state level?
Well, I think, I mean, we can think of the big businesses that we have, but really the businesses that keep our state thriving and working are small businesses. And I don't know the percentage. I wish I did know the percentage of small businesses versus larger businesses, but the small business community really makes our economy grow and perform. And so we depend on that. And so we want to make sure from a state legislative perspective that we provide that opportunity so that can happen, no matter who you are or what you want to do. It's there.
As a matter of fact, I had read somewhere 80% of all business are small business.
But that's a good number.
And this small business is the backbone of the economy.
Absolutely.
Ironically, the same is applied to the national level too, Rick.
That's
80%. How do they define small business?
Well, I don't know. Is it 50 people or less, or I don't know what it is.
Yes. As a matter of fact, SBA, Small Business Administration, defined it at $25 million of gross sales or less.
Okay.
So that's not
that's right.
really small at all. Yeah,
yeah, that's right. That is, and so.
And then the government, the state benefit from the tax, sales tax revenues, and how does state benefit from these small businesses?
Well, through
sales tax.
Sales tax.
Yeah.
Sales tax is now the other. There is a tax on business that us conservatives are trying to get rid of, and that's the franchise tax. It's called the franchise tax.
Right.
The business tax.
Explain the franchise tax. A lot of people misperceive that. Would you explain that?
Well, there's a threshold of how much money you make and how much tax you owe, and we've taken a slice out of that the last couple of sessions. With our goal is to eliminate the whole thing, so that businesses, small businesses, every business, can keep that money rather than paying it to the state, and who knows what we're going to do with it, right? Take that money and they can grow their business, they can hire more people, they can do research, they can invest through investment, and that's where we really gain is because we're bringing more people into the workforce. We're providing jobs for many more people, and so that's, maybe one more session we'll get rid of it. So we're hoping to do that, get rid of that franchise tax.
Yes. Without going too much into political affiliations, but you did mention the word conservative.
I did.
Okay, and as a business owners, you want to be conservative. So quickly, explain what is the difference between conservative and the other.
Gosh, we could be here all night.
Yes, very quickly. I mean, how is it different? Well, if a state representative is conservative and the other one is liberal. Liberal, for those who are not familiar with the political.
Right. And there are many things that we can talk about, but from a family faith perspective, that we consider. But not everybody could have a belief and be strong family. It's how we look at how our government works. Do we want more government or less government? As a conservative, we want less government. We want to get the government out of our way from doing business, from being more effective. We want lower taxes. It's what if you look at the national level now, what they're trying to do, what our president is trying to do, and I don't know whether Congress is going to be able to. They should be able to, but do away with this tax structure that's in place, really simplify that and reduce it, give more money to the people and businesses so it's their money. And so from a conservative perspective, the money that comes into the state is not the government's money, it's the people's money. And so we have to be good stewards of that money and spend it wisely, but also figure out ways to try to let the people have more of their money. And so that's a big, strong conservative perspective. On the other side of the aisle, it's not so. They could spend a heck of a lot more money than we actually have available to us. So it's fiscal restraint, less regulation, less regulatory control, and just giving people the opportunity to be successful. But that's basically what I stand for. Okay?
As a matter of fact, this is important because that philosophy will affect the way that you behave, the way that you vote, and that is important. I mean, that is your core belief.
That's right.
Yes.
So from a family and just a life perspective, as a strong Christian conservative, life is important. And so we just got evaluated as one of the evaluation or the not agencies, but one of the entities that looks at how we vote on things. Okay, so being conservative is being a strong pro-life advocate.
But
those are just some of the things that
yes, I know it could be very sophisticated. But on the topic of business, so I wanted to keep the topic, the conversation relevant. So basically, you want the government to stay out of business
as much as possible.
Because after all, entrepreneurs, business owners are the ones who come up with ideas and creativeness to provide product and services.
That's right, and that's the opportunity that we must ensure is there. the more regulation we try to put on business,
right,
the harder it is to do it.
exactly. Especially, you know, as a small business owner, Rick, you know, when that person have the courage and is willing to take the risk
Right.
to open a business,
Right.
and she or he has to go through the ton of process,
Right.
tons of mountains of bureaucrats
Right.
in order to get that permit. So how happy, how content are you with the permitting process and licensing and the regulations at the state level toward business?
I think that we can do a lot better.
Yes.
From a licensing perspective.
Right.
From a regulatory perspective, you know, someone has the idea for every law we put in place, we had to eliminate 5 of them
Okay.
that already exist,
Right,
right?
right.
But to simplify the process, to have a more immediate response to you know, a business entity that wants to build a strip mall and put stores in, make that where the government is there to help you and
Exactly.
not get in your way.
Yes,
And
yes.
that happens I mean, I hear it all the time
Yes,
from
yes.
from a city perspective, from a
Right,
county perspective,
right.
and from a state perspective. And so we have to realize what our role is as in government, and that is to help and assist people and businesses to be successful,
Right.
not to get in their way,
Right.
not to make it more difficult, not to make it you know, as hard as it can be. But that's what I see,
Right.
and we have a long way to go in that.
Yeah.
And one of the governor's initiatives in our special session was to do exactly that. Now, we didn't get it done, okay? It didn't happen. We didn't pass anything, but I think that his idea was get the government out of the way. Here are the basic things you must comply with and you
Right,
must
right,
do,
Right.
and we're here to help you, not hurt you. Then we're going to see more businesses come on the radar screen. We're going to see more opportunity for people to say, "Hey, I've got this great idea,
Right, right, right.
and now I
Yeah.
can go achieve that goal,
Right,
that,
right.
that idea."
Yeah, nothing bothers me more than that entrepreneurs must have to face
Right.
the challenge of intimidations. You know, working at the city level, sometimes that developer, that business owner coming to the city,
Right.
and that employee, the government employees, must be treating that
Right.
person as a client.
Right.
So do you think public servant, government employees should be treating their constituents as private clients?
Well, I think you know, those government agencies that oversee some part of business growth or activity
Yeah.
or development or building things
Yeah.
needs to have a perspective that they're there to help them, not hurt
Right.
them, or not make life more difficult for
Right,
them, or not
right.
put new rules in place.
Right.
And a lot of that happens. I know, I've heard it. I hear it a lot,
Right, right,
especially
right,
in the
right.
construction area or developing area.
Right.
And so, and the governor heard that, and so he said, "Look, boys and girls, I want you to work on this, and come up with something in that area. We're going to get that,
Right.
but that should be our mindset: is not make life more difficult, not make things more difficult to achieve, but
Right.
simplify that and be there in a supportive role."
Yeah.
To make sure that it happens.
Yeah.
So that's where I come from.
The small business community in Texas or in Houston or in Fort Bend become increasingly diversified.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your observations on that?
Well, I think it is wonderful. Opportunities for every community of people. I mean, that's what Fort Bend. If you think about Fort Bend has been called the most diverse county in the nation. If you think about the people who live in Fort
Right,
Bend,
right.
and so if it's the most diverse county in the nation, especially in for sure Texas, then all these different peoples that we have who want to do things, who want to be successful, want to start a business.
Right, right.
That's only going to add to our economy and keep
Right.
our economy strong, provide jobs for people,
Yes.
and opportunities for people to be successful.
Right.
So
right.
I fully support all of that.
Right.
And if there's anything that I can do, and I'll just put this out there for any of my
Yes,
constituents in District 26 or any of the constituents listening,
Yeah.
get in touch with my office. Call
Right,
my
right.
office. Call Danny, and he'll get in touch with me. But I'm here to help. I'm
Yes,
here to
yeah,
help. And
yeah.
if you run into any roadblocks, you let me know.
Yes.
I'll
Yes.
I'll take them down. I'll work with them.
Yes,
So.
yes. I can testify to that. Actions speak much louder than words. I remember right after you get elected, you form a economic development committee.
Yeah.
So to reach out to the communities.
Right.
So that I think you took that very, very seriously.
And we do that. We do that every interim period.
Yes.
We set up what I call district advisory teams.
Yes.
On certain issues that I know are percolating out there that are important.
Right.
Be it taxes or you name it, business opportunity, business development, business growth, and we'll bring together a group of people who want to serve on that advisory team.
Right.
And what they come up with, their tasks, I task them to come up with ideas that I can take to the legislature and put into law.
Right.
That would be more beneficial to whatever it is, whatever the area is, especially in business.
Right.
So I'll put it. If you want to serve on my business development advisory team, let me know. Okay, we'll start that up probably after the primary, probably after the March election.
Right.
And then we'll start that in April, and by the time we get to past the general election in November, that team will report out to me and say, "Hey, Rick, here's what we think is important."
Right.
And then I'll say yes or no, and we'll go forward with it.
Wonderful.
You have an opportunity.
Yes. Quý vị đang theo dõi chương trình Diễn đàn Kinh doanh, và ngày hôm nay chúng tôi đang nói chuyện với ông dân biểu tiểu bang, đó là ông Rick Miller của địa hạt 26. Và bây giờ chúng tôi xin chuẩn bị chạy phần quảng cáo, và cũng được nhắc lại là chương trình hôm nay được bảo trợ bởi do công ty Danny Nguyen Commercial, một công ty chuyên về bất động sản thương mại trên 21 năm. Chúng tôi sẽ trở lại ngay sau phần quảng cáo. We go for commercial break.
Okay, good.
Welcome back. You are watching Danny Nguyen TV show live with Van TV. It is my great pleasure today to have a conversation with our state representative, Rick Miller, District 26. Miller time.
Yes, Miller time.
You still remember that slogan. Well, we finished part one.
Okay.
And now this is
Holy
the
cow.
part two. Time
That went
goes by
fast.
very quickly when
It
we have
does.
a great times. Let me ask you this. You know, when people think about government, especially us, you know, coming from a country where the government and the people are not that close to each other.
That's right.
So they look at government as intimidations.
Right.
So what do you think the current perception or relation between the business and the state right now?
Well, you know, if we look at, I believe we live in the greatest country in the world.
Yes.
And I believe God has blessed this country.
Yes.
But it's only as good as us who are working in it, in the
Yes.
government or part of the government. Or if you're not in the government, you still need to have a big role in this. And
Right,
so
right.
through your participation, be it in local government, be it in city government, county government, state government, whatever, but it's important to be involved. And don't sit on the sideline. Don't sit on and complain.
Yes. You know, this is how I see it. You know, you have the Constitution. The
Right.
Constitution gives you the right,
That's right.
so that you don't have to be fearful of the government. I think that is after several years.
Right.
And as I realized that, I mean, that's a license. I mean, that's why this country is great because of that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and that's why Texas is so great, I believe, because of our leadership and on our conservative side in leading the state to greater growth and greater opportunity, greater potential. I carried a resolution this past session. It's a national effort to rein in the federal government. Article 5 of the Constitution has to do with amendments to the Constitution. The primary responsibility resides with Congress to, if the Constitution needs to be amended, then it's their role to do that. It comes to the states for ratification.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Article 5 says if Congress is not doing their job, then the states can rise up and petition the Congress
right.
for a convention of the states to propose certain amendments. That my resolution that I carried that passed, right now there are 13 states that have passed the same resolution, is in 3 areas. One is fiscal restraint.
Okay.
We all know that the federal government is how many trillions of dollars in debt, right? Over 20 trillion, right? Is there a balanced budget? No. So what we would propose are amendments that would rein in that fiscal responsibility. Second is regulatory. So many things come down to the states, be it environmental, education, business, where all these rules and laws are put in place, not necessarily enacted by Congress, but by the executive, by the president. And so that's the second phase, is to maybe propose amendments in that particular area that bring that back in line with the way the framers of our Constitution and our country. And the third is term limits. And so what we're saying is the states can stand up and say, wait a minute, you're not doing your job up there, and we're here to do it. Well, from a state perspective, there's nothing like that. But I think that in Texas, we're trying to do that. We're trying to keep our state growing, developing more businesses, giving more opportunities to people, lowering our taxes as much as possible, and that's what we're supposed to be doing. That's my view of the world.
That's why I came to Texas. I ran over here as fast as I could.
That's why I came to Texas.
I mean, I love Texas. I mean, I love the spirit of Texas. But you know, one time I was listening to Pastor Young, Ed Young, Second Baptist Church. He said, when people is afraid of government, this is the bad thing. But when the government is afraid of the people, that's the way it's supposed to be. I mean, that is the systems. I mean, do you still believe that system is still working in America, Rick?
That's right. And see, I think that's part of what the resolution I carried is saying, hey, look, you up there in Washington, you're not doing anything. You're totally dysfunctional. You're not concerned about us people down here in the States. We're going to rise up and take over. We're going to do some things. And so
people may be thinking of us as a rebellious state, but you have to remember that when the condition, they're not fulfilling their duty, that is when it's happened. So you get your independence.
That's right. And we'll see this. I mean, I know we'll see this because we believe as conservatives, lower taxes. We have lower taxes across the board for individuals and for businesses. You're going to see this country grow in a way that we have never seen before, but we've got to do it. They're not doing it, right? They're in Washington, and so, but they must do this. And if they did that, holy cow, just watch what happens, because opportunities will, and the states will follow. The states will follow.
Okay. Well, a lot of people looking at local government or even state governments as an intimidation that we. But you know, you guys are also an opportunities because state could be a big consumers. You purchase products, services. So would you share with the audience what kind of opportunities are available for small businesses?
Well, you know, from a state perspective, I know that many of our state agencies procure things from all kinds of businesses, and once in a while we put checks on them and hey, how are you doing this? How are you going about hiring the right people or the right firms to do business for you or buy products from? There's a lot of opportunity there, and our role in the state legislature is just to make sure that that's done fairly. And everybody's given an opportunity to through an RFP to this is what I can do. These are the products I have.
I have a suggestion, because I know that you are a good leader. You are very open-minded and you are interactive with people. And the fact that you are asking people to serve on the committee, on a business committee. So I come up with an idea, Rick, maybe one of these days you may do a workshop, you know, workshops of teaching people how to get certified, how to become a vendor,
Okay.
Maybe first of all, we create that awareness of opportunities. Hey, you guys, because I mean, we didn't prepare this, so you were not really prepared.
Okay.
But I mean, that is something that you can do, because I mean, we pay tax and we deserve to make some profit or make some business.
Right.
So whatever the budget is, whatever the opportunities is, and then we create awareness, and then I know that small business owners have to go through a certified process.
That's right.
So maybe we can help them to
I think that's a great idea, is to put something together like that, and it wouldn't just be me, but
called workshop, whatever that is.
You know, for Fort Bend County or the greater Houston area or whatever, just to say, this is how you do this. This is what you have to do to establish your business, to get recognition for it. These are the opportunities. This is how you have to. This is what you have to do. I think that's a great idea.
Right. I want to make sure that I translate like that. I think this is important. Quý vị đang theo dõi chương trình diễn đàn kinh doanh, và như sự trình bày của ông dân biểu tiểu bang ông Rick Miller, thì cái câu hỏi được đặt ra là thường là những cái người dân bình thường hay là những cái người thương gia, người ta nhìn những cái người chức trách, những chính phủ như là một cái chỗ mà không thân thiện. Người ta là không ai thích làm việc với chính phủ hết, tại vì nơi đó là cái nơi người ta tạo sự khó khăn, hay là nó là cái intimidation, chứ người ta không có làm những cái điều tốt cho người dân. Nhưng mà mình cũng nhớ rằng là mặc dù là thành phố hay là tiểu bang thì người ta cũng có những cái cơ hội. Chính phủ tiểu bang cũng phải mua những dịch vụ và hàng hóa rất là nhiều, thì đó là một cái cơ hội cho chúng ta. Thì ông Rick ông nói là theo lời đề nghị của chúng tôi thì ông sẽ có một cái buổi workshop, và ông sẽ cho chúng ta biết là trong khi đó, cứ mỗi năm hay là mỗi cái chu kỳ thì state tiểu bang sẽ mua những cái dịch vụ và sản phẩm gì, và làm thế nào để chúng ta là những người tiểu thương có thể bán được những dịch vụ và sản phẩm. And for those of you who want to serve on the economic development committee, so I mean this is your opportunities, and if you want to serve, how do they get a hold of you to serve on that? What are the qualifications?
Qualifications. Number one is you want to do it.
A desire
you want to participate. You have ideas that you want to share, and that you hopefully, depending on what that advisory team is doing, but in a business area, you have some background in the business world and working with the state government, local government, and you want to help me make things better, facilitate how that business is done. So my office number here in my district is 281-980-0117.
One more time, please.
281-980-0117. And my district director is a beautiful young lady named Wendy Lojo.
Wendy's awesome.
Wendy Lojo. And she'll take your name.
Very helpful,
and just call and say, hey, I'm volunteering to serve on. And it could be several different committees, but you call her and say, I'd like to serve on the business committee, and we'll take it from there.
Right. What is the population of your district?
Oh my gosh.
It's a lot, I know that for sure.
A lot. I forget the number. 80,000, 90,000, more than
problem. And that's why you're a good leader. That's why you form this committee. Because there's no way that you can be everywhere, Rick.
Well,
so you rely on this committee to be your ears and eyes.
Here's what I say. I'm just a dumb legislator. Okay, I don't know all these things, but the people who know these things and who are in these different areas, they're the experts, and so I can carry what the experts have to say about these things, and I can take their ideas to Austin. And develop legislation that'll help them, achieve better. So that's my view. People are smart in certain areas. I'm not. I don't have all that background, right? So, but I'm smart enough to know that there are people who do, and I'm willing to listen to them.
Only smart men and brave men say that. But anyway, let me ask you these questions. You know, we are so divisive.
Yeah.
Even whether on the Congress level or at the state level. But in order to get things done, Rick, sometimes that, you'd have to compromise. So,
Yeah.
how do you face that? How do you handle that to get bill passed?
Well, you don't have to. I don't compromise what I believe in, my value system, but sometimes there are ideas that make it better.
Right.
Or if you're going to get it done, you have to work with people from both sides of the aisle.
Right.
And so I'm always open for that. Whenever we're trying to get a serious or difficult piece of legislation passed,
right.
It's all about numbers.
Right.
It's all about votes.
Right.
And so I try to get as many, of course, on my side of the aisle, my conservative Republican side, but I also reach out to my Democrat friends and say, hey, look, this is not partisan. This is not something. This is good for the people of Texas, or good for people of District 26.
So you place the people interests above the.
Absolutely, and if we can get a legitimate conversation about that, where people are open and honest, then we'll see a good vote on it. And we'll pay. We need 76 votes for most of the stuff we do, and so but that's what you have, and it's a lot of work. Trust me.
It's not easy. You have to put your ego aside. It's not easy.
It is much harder than people think it is, and much more involved, and the hours get long as we go into session, but it's worth doing, because once we do good things, you feel so good about that. Not for myself, because I'm not doing this for myself. I don't have to do this, but I'm doing it for the people of Texas and the people of my district, and that's what keeps me going. The pay's not very much. So.
Right. I mean, don't talk about pay. I don't know if you have enough money to put gas in that. I served before. If you don't have that true, genuine, internal satisfaction, then
that's right.
And it's nothing.
That's right. You have to want to do it, for the right reasons.
Yes.
And then you'll get good results.
Right. I really want to talk more about politics at the national level, but we don't have a lot of times. So it seemed to me that because of the divisiveness of the parties, so things are not being done. That you talk about parties. What do you think? You think at the Congress level, compromise is more needed in order something tangible could be done?
I think it's several things. I think one is we have to have the right people in the right positions there. We have to have the right people who understand who can grasp the process, first of all, and what it takes to be successful in that arena.
Yes.
So we have to have the right people. Second is we have to be open to ideas from everybody. Okay, not just your own party, but from across the aisle. And be willing to have that conversation, and then come up with this whatever it is, so that's going to benefit all the people, not just some of the people. And so that in Texas we have 150 in the House, 150 members in the Texas House. In Washington they have 435.
Right.
There's a little bit of difference there, but even in Texas, it's hard to get things done. It really is hard to get some things done.
But you talk about everything else except the task itself.
Right. So it's but it's the good, the bad, and the ugly, like we talked about before. And some things just get ugly when they shouldn't get ugly. And but for the most part, my 3 terms so far have been enjoyable. I've gotten some really good things done, and I take great pride in that I've done good things for the people of District 26.
You have a lot of supporters. You've got a lot of help to people who who believe in your visions and all that. Yeah.
And I know Fort Bend County, for example, through the Economic Development Council. They're working hard. I supported them in things that they wanted to get done. But there's a great effort in Fort Bend County because of the number of people coming into Fort Bend County. The growth of Fort Bend County is significant because that opportunity is there. It's a great place to raise a family. And I think my district is the best district in all of Texas.
I know you and your former wife for a long time.
Yes.
And you are very you don't just sit in the office. You come out and you have a lot of, you interact with the communities, and you know a lot about the Vietnamese American communities.
I do.
So what is your observation? What strength, weaknesses, or improvement that you've seen in the Vietnamese business community?
Okay, well, what I would like to see, and I'd like to get to know more of the,
Okay.
of the Vietnamese business leaders.
Yes.
I would like to get them engaged in what we're doing politically.
Are you
know what I
happy
mean?
with what you see in terms of the Vietnamese stores and restaurants
absolutely.
and businesses and the contribution that they make?
They are.
state?
They're making great contributions. Their work ethic is second to none. Okay, they know what it means to earn and to achieve,
Yes.
and they drive to achieve that, and so that's so significant. And
You think the Vietnamese community are conservative?
I think they're very conservative.
You think
I think
so?
they value life.
Okay.
And I think they're tuned into what I believe in as a conservative. I'd like to see them get involved. I want to see them vote. Of course, I'd like to have them vote for me in the November election because I think that's where the real opportunity is for them to keep our legislature
right.
conservative, and because that's our goal. That's our goal is to
Right.
provide that opportunity. But get involved.
Get
okay,
involved.
be part of my team.
Get involved. You mean get involved in politics?
In politics.
Let me ask you this.
Like you
so,
did.
so how do you encourage them? You know, they said, I don't like politics. I just want to do business. I have nothing to do with politics. I mean, how do you explain that? I mean, how do you convince them to?
The way one way to
Because
get
people hate politics.
well, politics can be a nasty business, and I've seen it. I haven't done it myself because that's not who I am.
Unfortunately, we have to deal with it.
But
yeah.
but talk with people like me. Okay, call my office. Send me an email. We respond to every letter, every email, every phone call we get. We write a letter back to people. But get in touch with me.
Yes.
Tell me what you think. Tell me what you need. Tell me
Yeah.
what you think is important, and we'll respond to that, and we'll take that and we'll do whatever we can with it. But that's how you can get involved. You don't have to run for office.
Yes.
Okay. You can. Okay.
Well, you encouraged me to run.
I encourage you to run again.
Yes, you did.
Get involved. But you can get involved in many ways.
Yes.
Go to city council meetings. Go to
Yes,
commissioner's
yes,
court.
yes.
County. Okay.
Yes.
Come to Austin and testify
Yes.
in our committees, because you know we've had committee hearings or meetings that have gone on for 24 hours. We don't say no to anybody in Austin, okay?
Right.
So if you have something you want to say, I don't say no to anybody.
Right.
And so that's how you can get involved. If you don't want to step out there and run for public office,
Yes.
but get in touch with your representatives. Get in
Right,
touch with the
right,
people
right.
who
Yeah.
you know who have you as a constituent.
Right.
And if they're not helping you, come to me. See me. I'll
Yes,
take you
yes,
on.
Yes,
okay.
yes. What do you think about a turnout of voting from the Vietnamese American community?
It could be a lot better.
This could be a lot better.
Could be a lot better.
Why don't people vote? I mean, especially, we pay such a dear price
Right.
to come to this country.
Yeah, you
Just
do.
for that basic core freedom to vote.
That's right. Well, you're a great example of that, and what you did, and what you become, and so you're a great model for people in your community, and this opportunity you have with the TV show, it's tremendous. We just have to communicate.
Yes.
Okay, I can't speak your language, but you
Yes.
can help me.
Yes.
But we need to reach out and let people know how important it is to have an impact and influence on how when I make a decision to vote on something,
Yes.
I'd like to hear from people and say,
Right.
this is what I think, this
Yes.
is what I think, because that tells me what the reality of the situation is.
Right.
But that's how you get involved.
Right.
We've got to get out in those communities and get people.
Got you. Get involved. Get involved.
that's
Get
right.
involved. If you don't have a
Participate.
plan, somebody else will have a plan for you, and this may not be your best interest.
It may not be the plan that you need. That's right.
Yes, yes. And we talked
So-
about earlier. Evil prevail when good men and women
That's right.
are
That's
doing
right.
nothing.
That's right.
And I want to ask you an important question about leadership. What make a good leader?
Oh
Give
my
me three
gosh.
qualities. What make an effective, good leader?
A leader is someone who is humble, is persistent, and values people. Okay? Because nothing happens without people. Everything involves people. And so those are three qualities. Leadership is about people and the ability to influence people to act and empowering them to do their job.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for watching. You just watched the conversation between Dan and Nguyen and our Honorable State Representative Rick Miller. See you next time and have a great evening. Say kính chào quý vị.
Whatever that was.
Okay.
Good night. Good night.